on YouTube are watching this video. So just maybe while we're starting off, maybe I'll check what we did yesterday, which was a lot of fun. I might just go over these idioms. So the first one was, because we were doing keep, it was keep an eye on. So this means to watch or monitor something carefully. So we saw this yesterday. Hi Andrea, how's it going? We saw this yesterday. I'm just going to review these idioms from yesterday while I'm starting off. So, hi Rafi. So, keep an eye on. Hello. Hey. So, yeah, keep an eye on. We were saying it's like half. Hi Barbie. It's like half look at something, no? If you're going swimming, hey. If you're going swimming at the beach, you might say to the people next to you, hey, could you keep an eye on my bag while I go for a swim? Just to make sure everything is, thanks Andrea, just to make sure everything is okay. I'm good, thanks Rafi, good to see you. I'm good, yeah. Going to yoga class later, so I'm excited about that. But I wanted to jump on and do a bit of stuff with you guys first. Okay, so keep an eye on. I looked up the origin. I hope you're all good. I'm glad to hear it, Rafi. So it was okay. This idiom dates back several centuries and comes from the idea that your eyes are your primary tool for observing and protecting. Originally, it simply meant to physically watch something closely, but over time, it developed the broader meaning of monitoring a situation, person, or trend. And somebody said yesterday it was a joke. Somebody said it was for this idiom was made for pirates. I thought that was so funny. Okay. And then I had some examples here, right? Like the board is keeping a close eye on inflation. Journalists have been keeping an eye on negotiations. We need to keep an eye on emerging trends. And this one, can you keep, oh, so, yeah, somebody in the chat mentioned this. One of you guys said, can you keep an eye on the pot on the stove for me? That was a really good one. And yesterday we also saw this one. So it was keep your fingers crossed. When I was preparing this, I found that crossing your fingers, you're actually making like the sign of the cross, like the religious cross, no? So when you make that the cross, you make it with your fingers, right? It was supposed to, hi Cece, hey, how are you doing? I'm just reviewing what we saw yesterday. When you make the sign of the cross your fingers, it's actually like a Catholic Christian thing. You talk about the cross, all good, cool, nice, good, glad to hear it. Protection, good luck. One of you guys said good fortune. I'm good too, thanks, Cece. I'm good. Hi, Karina. Hey. Yeah, I'm good too. And I said to them, I'm excited. I've got yoga class later, so I'm excited about that. Or divine favor. So that's why people literally say like cross your fingers. Okay. And then somebody asked, I need to check this. Somebody mentioned yesterday about pinky promises, you know, this one. And I'm actually not sure if that's also a Catholic thing, but I have to check that. I haven't checked it yet, and I'm curious. Okay. Now, this one we didn't see yesterday. So this is a totally new one for you guys, okay? So this one is keep something under your hat. Keep something under your hat. Can anybody, okay, I think maybe you have seen it. Any ideas what this could mean to keep something under your hat? If I tell you some gossip and I say keep that under your hat now. Hey Sophia, hello. So, and I say keep that under your hat. I'm saying keep it a secret. And I found the origin, right? So it means keep a secret and possible origin. It's a possible origin, but I thought it was funny. This idiom appeared in the 19th century. So hats were a common everyday item. So everybody at that time was wearing a hat. Hello, Pro 787. Hey. So hats were a common everyday item and often symbolized personal space and privacy. So you wear your hat like they did in the past, and this represented your personal space, your privacy. So the idea is that if something is under your hat, it remains hidden from other people and stays inside your head. I thought that was interesting. It's a funny way to remember it as well. Yeah. So if you're really into languages, I don't know if you guys thought that was funny. I don't know. I thought it was really cool, this one. Okay, so for example, look, I've heard some exciting news about the company, but I'm supposed to keep it under my hat for now. So, okay, keep the project under her hat until the official announcement. Sorry, guys, totally crazy. But I could see they were going to keep calling, keep calling, no? But I could see they were going to keep calling, keep calling, no? Okay, so number 3, the government struggled to keep the negotiations under its hat once details began to leak. Okay, so, and I put some questions if you guys want to think about it. So, are you good at keeping secrets? So, this is like, are you good at keeping things under your hat? What about you guys? Are you good at keeping secrets? Keeping things under your hat? Sometimes, Barry says. Yes, I usually can. But I usually forget them. Okay. Yeah, it's a good quality, forgetting things. Yeah. It's funny. Have you ever accidentally revealed something you were supposed to keep under your hat? Nandre, no. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything. I think if somebody says to me, like, don't tell anyone, hi, Gloria. Um, I normally try to not to say it because I wouldn't like if somebody revealed my secrets. But yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Okay, next one. We spoke about this one. Oh no, we didn't. I did a TikTok about this one. Keep your chin up. I think it was the answer to the TikTok yesterday or the day before. So try to think. Keep your chin up. So I think you guys know this is your chin. No, this thing. So when something bad happens, like you fail your exam, you do something you shouldn't have done, it's very typical that we drop our heads, no, because we're disappointed or embarrassed. If you failed an exam, you're like, oh. So people say, keep your chin up, because if your chin is up, your head is up. Yeah. So it's like stay positive. It's really really nice thing to say to your friend if they feel bad, if they feel embarrassed, if they failed an exam, failed their driving test. You say keep your chin up. It's just like stay positive. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be disappointed. Like keep going. So stay positive during a difficult situation. Yes, and it said the phrase comes from body language. So people who feel defeated, vencidos, defeated, often lower their heads. So often they're like this, no? Whereas confident or determined people tend to hold their heads up high. Telling someone keep your chin up is therefore a way of encouraging them to remain optimistic and resilient. Okay? Okay. Can anybody translate this? Looks like Polish in the chat, but I'm not sure what it means. Hello, Chaplain. Yeah. Sorry, don't understand a word of Polish. I wish I did. I have a lot of Polish students. I think that's Polish, but I have no idea what that comment means. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, I thought that you are from. Oh, you're so sweet. You thought I was from Poland. No, sorry. I know Yeshov and Gdansk and Warsaw and Poznan, and I'm missing a very important one now, and I can't remember which one it is. But I have never been. I want to go, but I'm not Polish. But I love the Polish. Hey, they're awesome people. Okay, so look this one. What helps you keep your chin up in difficult periods? You can think about that. Like, what helps you stay positive? For me, exercise, sports. If I go doing exercise, it helps me feel more positive. Doing yoga helps me as well. Um, who do you turn to? Gym, Andrea, yeah. Gym totally helps me keep my chin up. When I'm having a really bad day or bad week, going to the gym always helps me to keep my chin up, to stay positive. Movie hamburger, yeah, nice movie. Oh, it's true. Relax, yeah, and watch a nice movie. It's cool. Okay, music, totally, absolutely, yeah, nice one, CC. Awesome. Hey, Monica. Stay with my dog, Luda. That's so nice. Yeah, I have a few situations when I was a teenager, all right, with my dog. Totally, totally, totally. Yeah. This is another phrasal verb we haven't done yet, but it's turn to. So, who do you turn to when you need encouragement? Like, who do you turn to? What person do you turn to? I turn to my students. Go to, yeah, exactly. Like go to, CC. But it's like you're there and you turn to this person. It's the same, like go to, turn to, go to. Yeah, when you need encouragement or something. Okay. This one we did also, right? It's keep someone at arm's length. Keep someone at arm's length. So this is pretty physical because you can imagine this is your arm, no? My arm is about not a meter. I think it's maybe, I don't know how many centimeters. I don't know, maybe it's 80 centimeters. No, I don't think so. Maybe it's 70 centimeters. So you can imagine when you have another person and you say, no, 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 no. You need to stay a distance away from me, minimum like the length of my arm. It means you're not comfortable having that person very close to you. Okay, physically or knowing information about you, being friendly with you, you need this person to be minimum one arm away from you or more. Okay, they mention an arm's length, but what it can be any distance. Not to enter my personal space, exactly, not to enter in my personal space, not to enter in my personal space. Brilliant, Monica, good job. Personal space, yeah. So you don't want that person knowing information about you, okay, or being so close to you. So it means avoid becoming close to someone, okay, avoid becoming close to someone. So the possible origin, this expression comes from the literal idea of holding a person far enough away that they cannot easily touch you. Okay, so they're far enough away that they cannot easily touch you. So it can be touch you emotionally or physically, but they must be far enough away. Historically, maintaining an arm's length distance provided both physical safety and personal space, just what Monica said. Okay? The idiom later developed the figurative meaning of maintaining emotional or professional distance. So the idiom developed into emotional or professional distance. So it doesn't have to be because you don't like the person, but it can just be, hi Mihail, it can be because it's just professional. At work, you don't want your colleagues to know too much about you, So you just don't tell them, not because you don't like them, but you just want to be professional, you know? Yeah. Now I was gonna ask another question about, oh yeah, I read a study. I read a study about it was a global study, many different countries in Spain, countries in Africa, countries in Asia, countries in the Middle East, and they studied in each country 3 columns. So the distance that you are comfortable maintaining with a stranger, the distance you maintain with somebody that you know, like an acquaintance, and the distance you keep with a loved one, with a loved person. So I would like to ask you guys, the 2 extremes, which countries do you think maintain or have the biggest distance with people? I'm going to tell you the two biggest countries. One, I wasn't surprised for religious reasons, it's totally fine. And the other one, I was a bit surprised. What do you guys think? The country that keeps the Maria, it's a good guess. It wasn't China. It wasn't China actually. It wasn't China. I also thought maybe China. Anybody else want to guess? And I'm going to ask you as well. Yeah, okay. Well, first we go the biggest distance. I must find that study and show you. Good. Yeah, it wasn't actually Japan. Interestingly enough, it wasn't Japan. And the distance was, for strangers, 2 meters. This country, 2 meters with a stranger. So if you meet a stranger, you should have a distance of 2 meters. It's a Middle Eastern country. It's a country in the Middle East. Denmark, you think so, Barbie? I must review, I'm going to look at this study. It was so interesting. It was really interesting. I'm going to tell you, the country with the biggest distance was Saudi Arabia. Yes, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. Exactly. However, if it's with your family, the distance gets much smaller, right? The distance gets much smaller. But there's another country that it's almost the same distance with a stranger, and it doesn't get smaller even with your romantic partner. They're very distant. And the country was actually Hungary. So even if somebody is in your family, they still prefer to keep a distance. Oh my God, Barbie, yeah. Yeah, it was super interesting. Wow, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It doesn't change. Like, you know, even if you're in somebody's family, you still maintain this distance, you know? Hello, Luda. So then I'll ask you one last question before we move on. Which country do you think has the smallest distance? I think they were the smallest distance, least amount of personal space is necessary. To quote Monica. It wasn't actually Spain. I think Spain was pretty close, but it wasn't actually Spain. And their distance, like with a friend or a family member, it was like a few centimeters, you know, and they were comfortable. It wasn't Italy, Cici. Think South America. It was a country in South America, actually. It wasn't Brazil, but Brazil was really close. Yeah. Yes, Andrea! It was Argentina. It was Argentina. In this study. You got it. Yeah. Really? I know, Cici. Yeah, really. I was surprised. Yeah. How was Argentina? I was so curious. Their personal space is like, if they know you, it's like a few centimeters. You know, they're really close people. It was really cool. So yeah. Okay. Let me move on. That was all of the ones from yesterday, right? So let's get on now to the new stuff for today. Any problems with the screen, and just let me know if you can't see something, okay? Okay, so I got a little quote here to start off from Winston Churchill. He said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." I thought that was really nice. to start off. No? So success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts, by Winston Churchill. So he was the British Prime Minister during the Second World War. And I got some questions. Hello, Kim. I got some questions for reflection. So, do you agree that failure can sometimes be useful? And can you think of a time when you continued despite difficulties? They were just some nice questions I thought to reflect on about those quotes. Okay, so I'm gonna go to our phrasal verbs for today. Yes, it can lead to a better outcome. You think so? Yeah? Yeah. I know it's really hard, but I also sometimes think, Cece, sometimes things happen for a reason. I do think, I think sometimes things happen for a reason, even though it's hard to understand at the time why. But yeah, I think if you're being a good person, if you're being a good person and trying your best, yeah, maybe, what is it in Spanish? We say, no hay mal por bien no venga, isn't it? Or yeah, every cloud has a silver lining. Okay, so I tried to do some phrasal verbs today with off. So, no hay mal que por bien no venga. Thanks, Cici. No hay mal que por bien no venga. Yes. Yeah, that's it. So, instead of picking a verb today, what I did was I decided to pick the preposition off to try to see, are there any connections, or you guys can see any connections with all of the verbs that we can pair with off. Okay, so like take off your jacket, quitar, no? Take it off the table. It's like move away, lift off. So the first one is put off. And I put here a list of like all the things I could think of, ways that we can use put off. So the first one is to postpone or delay something. You should know this for B2, for sure you should know this one. Postpone or delay something. But it can also mean discourage someone from doing something. And that would be C1 plus. Okay, in that case. Also, cause someone to lose interest or attention. So this is like to distract. This is probably C2, honestly. Distract someone from concentrating. Okay, I mean, those ones are very high level. So the more typical one is to postpone. Well, more typical, the easier one, no? And it appears in B2 exams, for example, postpone or delay, discourage someone, cause someone to lose interest. And I got a few examples here. The government has once again put off a decision on pension reform despite growing public pressure. So in that case, it's going to be these two, isn't it? This is the meaning. We can put it in brackets there. In this case, we can substitute delayed. So the government has once again delayed or postponed a decision on pension reform. The government has once again put off a decision on pension reform. So they said, okay, we will decide on Monday. And then Monday comes and they say, we will decide next month. No? Aplazar, I think in Spanish. Next example, the amount of bureaucracy involved in setting up the business completely put her off becoming self-employed. This is a really, really nice example. It's probably more like C1, this one. So it means cause someone to lose interest in this case, right? Cause someone to lose interest. So this lady, she wanted to be self-employed. But then she discovered, oh my goodness, there is a lot of bureaucracy, there is a lot of paperwork involved in this, and she was put off. So the amount of paperwork caused her to lose interest in becoming self-employed. This is really difficult, guys. I hope it makes sense. But it is true that this is a very high level, to be put off. So the amount of paperwork put her off. It caused her to lose interest in becoming self-employed. And you can use this for a lot of things. Honestly, the smell of fish puts me off. Okay. So look, the smell in the fishmongers is true. The smell of the fishmongers puts me off buying fish there. It's true. I enter the fish shop and I think, oh God, smells really bad, and I don't want to go in. So the smell puts me off. The smell puts me off. Okay? So it causes me to lose interest in this. Fishmonger is one word. My God. Excuse me. Oops. Thank you, Sally. The smell of the fishmongers put me off buying fish there. Okay? Next one. His constant interruptions kept putting me off my train of thought during the presentation. Right? My train of thought, you can imagine, it all goes together, this. It's like, you know, when you're thinking, when you're giving a presentation, if somebody interrupts you, you start thinking about what they're saying and you forget where you were. This is called your train of thought. A TGP39 person. Okay. Yeah, you lose what you were saying, you forget where you were. So in this case, it is distract someone from concentrating. Distract someone from concentrating. This can also be to put someone off. So that's this one in this example. Yeah. Okay. And again, I would say that is C1, at least minimum. Okay, minimum. You wouldn't be expected to know that for B2, but we do use it a lot. Yeah, put me off. Let me think of an example for me to be. Yes, especially playing sports. Oh gosh, it's true. My friend shouted at me when I was trying to remove the Jenga block. Do you know Jenga? This game, the Jenga block. And he put me off and the whole thing collapsed. This is true. This is a true story. It was so annoying. But he totally put me off. I was trying to remove the Jenga block and my friend was like, boo! And I go, oh my God. And he put me off and I knocked the whole thing. You know? So yeah, so to put someone off is more or less like this. So if somebody's playing golf and you do like, I can't whistle very well, you might put them off and they miss their shot. I'll write that as well. Look, she whistled at him when he was taking his swing and she put him off. Yeah, so in the end, he missed the hole. Okay, for example. So she put him off. She distracted him from concentrating. Is that clear, guys? I hope your brains are not exploding now. That was a very comprehensive view of the phrasal verb to put off. Memory tip, right? So the core idea, okay, I hope so. The core idea is creating distance. Well, that's from, put off. You either move something into the future or move yourself emotionally away from it. So this is for the first meaning of put off, right? But the other two, these two, for example, I mean, these are very complex ones, all right? This one is easy for you guys, I think. If you're already about over B2 or B2 level, this one is easy. But these ones are not easy. But they're very common. If you're working in English or with native speakers, you're going to hear those. Okay? So that's put off, right? That's the first one. The next one is to show off. I have a feeling that some of you guys might know show off. Have you seen this one before, to show off? Does anybody know what it means? Cece knows. Awesome. Okay. Nice, Monica. Yeah. Awesome. So, like, it can be good and it can be bad. Like, if you mostrar, 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 but also it can be presumir, TGP, right? So presumir is like the negative one. Okay, so we can say can be positive or negative. No? So imagine your friend gets a new dress, right? And you're really happy, you're excited to see the dress, and she's excited to show you the dress. So you might say, come on, put on the dress and show off your new dress. And everybody's happy and it's really cool. No? But if you have, I don't know, you get a new expensive car and you drive your car around your village 100 times, revving the engine vroom, 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 in front of the whole village, you're just showing off. You're going to annoy people because people are just going to be sick of seeing you with your amazing new car, you know? So it depends. So, boast, this is negative. Boasting is always negative. This is when you're acting like you're the best and almost to make other people feel bad. Okay, so that's the one like presumir. But then display something proudly, this is okay. Like if you know, with your friends and with your family and they're happy for you, if you get some new shoes or a new dress or I don't know, you get your degree and you want to say, look at my degree. They're happy for you, so then it's okay. You know, hey, come on, show off your new shoes. It's cool. And the third meaning, which is highlight a feature or quality, right? Highlight a feature or quality. So, for example, the company used the conference to show off its latest AI technology to investors. I mean, in that case, it's not that bad. So, there was a conference for investors, and the company took advantage of this conference to show off, like to demonstrate, to show, mostrar, like TGP said, to show their latest AI technology, right? And then he has a tendency to show off his knowledge whenever experts are present. This is a negative. So I would say this one is like positive or neutral, neutral. And I would say the second example is negative. I would say. Like, yeah, especially when you say he has a tendency, it's like something that he always does. Like his friends and co-workers have identified him as a person who always likes to be a little bit better than other people. And generally people don't like this, you know. Depends on your culture as well, but in my country, nobody likes a show off, really. It's like, oh God, you know, yeah, nobody likes to show off. So he has a tendency to show off his knowledge whenever experts are present. It's a funny thing as well in Ireland. If you buy a new T-shirt and your friend says, "Hey, Vikki, I really like your T-shirt," I will say something bad about my T-shirt to bring down my T-shirt. So if you say that my T-shirt is amazing, I will say something. Oh, this was really cheap. I bought this for like €4 in Primark. You know. So yeah, we're not the best. So I think Irish people don't really like showing off. Okay. So next one, the large windows. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to show you. I think this one is the most advanced of all of these. Probably C1. The large windows show off the spectacular views of the coastline. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing, you know. So because you have the big windows, you can really appreciate the coastline, you know? It's cool. Yeah. So basically, look, memory tip, you're showing something off because you want people to notice it. Is the British art master? Hello, Christian. I don't speak British RP. In fact, I don't really like it. Controversial topic. So, I suppose it depends. I'm not really, I mean, I'm Irish and I speak Spanish, and I speak Spanish with an Irish accent. And because I learned most of my Spanish in the south of Spain, I also have like an Andalusian accent, apparently, but I can't hear my own accent. I actually think that if you speak English well and you understand English well, I don't see why your pronunciation should be a factor, honestly. You know, is it hard to master? I think you would probably need to be living there, or be really, really dedicated. And also, it's easier for some people than others. For example, if you're Polish, Polish is a very, very complicated language, and they are very particular about pronunciation. So, Polish people, I think, they have a special talent for mastering different accents. So, a Polish person could probably learn British RP. You're Hungarian? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, so I don't know what level of English you have now. Like, Hungarian is also the same. It's very, very important, the pronunciation, and you guys have a lot of different sounds. So maybe for you, Polish is very similar to Ukrainian. Okay, so you're also, so you guys, like, you have you're a bit ahead. So maybe for you it would be a bit easier. From somebody from another country with a stronger accent, it might be more difficult. So it depends on a lot of things. The hours of dedication, if you really want to do it. I mean, master, you know, yeah. So depends on you how long. Yeah. For me, I'm Irish. I think it would be very hard for me to master British RP. I wouldn't want to. I have a funny story, actually. I have a funny story. I was on a cruise, a small boat. Okay, we spent one night on this boat, and it was like there was six of us eating. Okay, Christian, there was six of us having dinner. There was so I was in the middle. In front of me was a guy from Hungary. On our left, no, on our right, my right was a girl from Italy and a guy from Italy. And on the left was a guy from Italy. And then there was a girl with British RP. She was from London, okay? But more or less. She definitely spoke with a British RP accent, right? So everybody was speaking in English. And everybody understood everybody. So we all understood each other, except the person from London. Except her. Nobody understood her. So at one point, she said to the Hungarian guy, she said, "Oh, Peter, could you pass the pork? The pork?" And Peter was like, I looked at me and I thought, oh no. And he was like, sorry, what? And she's like, the pork, the pork, the pork. And he didn't understand. And I said, she means the pork. Pork, 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 okay? Not poke. But because they don't pronounce the R's, pork, pork. And I said, it's the yeah, so I needed to correct the British RP accent so that other people could understand what she was saying. And he said, oh, okay. So he gave her the pork. And then he said, oh, because in Hungarian, poke means spider. So he understood, pass me the spider. And he was totally confused. So, so this thing about accent, for me, it's a bit crazy, you know? It's a bit crazy. So I think you can speak English very, very well. as long as you're not speaking to people who are crazy and people who can also communicate with you, you know. But I think sometimes in England, people speak and they don't consider the person listening to them. Anyway, Matvi, let me see. Is there any way to know when the letter O is pronounced with a diphthong, OU, and when it's just O? I don't think so. I don't think so. In English, no, basically no. So yeah, we can check this later, but yeah, I had another student who was asking me a lot about phonetics, maybe last year, and I because she was so interested, we went into it, but there were so many exceptions, Matvi. There were so many exceptions to this that honestly, I think it's faster to learn word by word. To be honest, we can check this particular one, but like, yeah, I don't think so. Maybe there's one or two rules, but then there's like 10 exceptions, you know? I think. Okay, so number 3 then is pay off. To pay off. And maybe this will be the last one, guys, for today, and I'll have to come back tomorrow. Right? And I've got loads of stuff now prepared for today, but I have to drive to my yoga class. And I have to drive about 50 minutes to get there. It's worth it because the teachers are amazing, but I have to leave on time. So this one will do, right? Pay off. So pay off. So you can think of as well like take off, eliminate, right? Enjoy. Thank you, TGP. So meaning produce positive results. Finish paying a debt. Like this is super. Finish paying a debt. I think you should definitely know this is so useful. Okay, maybe B2 students it's too much, but this is so useful to pay off a debt, like to pay off your house. It means that you finish paying your mortgage. I paid off my car. I don't have to pay any more of my loan, the interest or the loan on my car. I paid it off. Paid it off. Okay, finished. Now look at this one. This is C2 or C1 plus, no, C2, native, to bribe someone. To bribe someone, right? So this means you give somebody money illegally to do something. And another one, compensate or dismiss employees. So when you fire somebody, they don't have a job anymore, you give them some money. So you pay them off to leave. And the examples then is years of investment in research finally paid off when the company secured a major patent. So in this case, it is produce positive results here. Right? There you go. That would be this one. I put it in there. So years of investment in research finally produced positive results. So finally paid off, finally produced positive results when the company secured a major patent. Okay? Really nice one. This is probably C1 also, honestly. At least. At least. Next one. They spent nearly 20 years paying off their mortgage. This is a little bit easier. And it's more, you can imagine, because you're paying money. So that's why this one is a little bit easier to finish paying a debt. It's easier because it's related to money. Could it be pay off a visit? I think you are totally almost there, CC. You can pay a visit. You can pay a visit. Okay, we'll put a note here. You can pay a visit, but no preposition, no off. And it just means to visit. It's a really nice way to say to visit, but it's not necessary to say off. You can pay, yeah, awesome. Really good question, eh? Really, really good question. I paid, example, e.g., I paid a visit to my grandmother last Saturday evening, for example. Okay, it just means I visited, but it's really, really nice. Nice way to say it. Okay, and last one, several officials were accused of being paid off to ignore irregularities. This is really typical. Okay? Really, really typical, unfortunately. I think there was some scandal, which Albania, I think, any guy, Albania, Albania. There was it on the news last week. There was, my mom was telling me about it. I Yeah, I'm thinking about who, if I should. There was a politician. I'm not going to say which politician, but a politician went to Albania, and in a protected area, he got permission to like build a giant hotel or something, a really like 5-star luxury hotel. But this was in a protected area. This guy should never have gotten permission to do this. And luckily, he was discovered, and the people of Albania started protesting. And they discovered that the reason he got this permission was because he paid off the officials. So he gave them a lot of money to allow him to give him permission to build. Luckily, the building hadn't been started when he was discovered. Luckily, but he tried to. So they're going to investigate this. But this politician is very um, important and rich. So I don't know if he's going to be in trouble, but yeah, he paid them off to get this permission, you know. Oh, that's brilliant, guys. Okay, so for the next day, for tomorrow, I'm gonna start off here, okay, with cut off. So I have cut off, take off, and then I have some quiz questions. And then tomorrow is what I hope I'll get to. I got some more idioms for you, okay? For example, this one, look, off the hook. I really want to go through that one. I think it's nice. All right? Cool. I'd love to stay now, guys. I feel like it was like less than just almost an hour and it went really, really fast. Anyway, I gotta go to my yoga class. Okay? Thanks so much for joining in, guys. And I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, right? So I have tomorrow after work. I should have a little bit more time around 5. Around 5, I should have more time. Thanks, Monica. Will this work if I do this? Oh yeah, look, that's for you guys. Okay, awesome. So I think around probably 5 or half 5 tomorrow. All right. Okay, you're so welcome, guys. Thanks for participating. And we'll see each other tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. All right, Luda. See ya. Bye. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a lovely evening. Bye, guys. Okay, YouTube guys, thanks for being here. See you later.